All right, we are back. Sorry about that, folks. We had a little technical difficulty with YouTube, but now we are back. We are up and running. And so let's get back to it. We were talking about the free agency moves. Joe Flacco's the last one. He went to Indianapolis because Gardner Minshew left. So Joe Flacco, I didn't even know that. He is in Indy now. I like that because they've got a quarterback there that was hurt, but Richardson, he's got a lot of potential, and can Joe
Yeah.
Flacco help him? And I
Yep.
think he can.
Yep.
And and if something happens to the kid because he hasn't learned how to protect himself quite yet, you've got a good veteran to step in and take a team that is probably playoff bound or at least can compete in the playoffs. So, yeah, I think that's all exciting stuff. Lauren, let me start with you. What was the most surprising move quarterbacks in the free agent market for you?
So for me, I got to go with the obvious one in the room, which is going to be Kirk Cousins. It kind of shocked me. Hear me out on it. Hear me out. I know I'm a fan of it, right? So
Okay.
why it's a surprising move is Atlanta just passed up on MVP Lamar Jackson for similar amounts of money. Whatever excuses they had in the building, they thought Ritter was the guy. Not sure. Atlanta also just came out of a Matt Ryan contract that kind of held you back for a couple years cap wise. You invest in the youth, you get back on there, and you're still in a QB1 hunt. Mariota, Ritter. Is it Kirk Cousins next? You don't know, right? So, but Kirk's also coming off a bigger injury, like in his career at least. And that's a tough dude. So, number 3, my favorite one. I'm here for it all. So I hate to go against I'm a Kirk fan. I think go get the bag, Captain Kirk. Go get what you need. You got Bijan, Pitts, Drake London, and they just got Darnell Mooney, I believe, in free agency. So you got weapons. Get out there, earn your money, prove everyone wrong, because I know there's a lot of people that are upset with that move.
Coach Harris, I'm going to move to you.
Yes,
Most
sir.
surprising move in the free agent market for you when it came to these quarterbacks?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same way, with the Kirk Cousin one. I was shocked by it. Let me say, I probably wasn't shocked, a little more surprised, and I guess, but then, throughout the whole process of it all, I think, when I listened to the head coach speak about it and his whole thought process behind it. You need a veteran guy and to marry it up with some good young talent and things like that. I would have thought a different older guy, but and Kirk Cousins has been proven throughout the regular season for sure. You look at his playoff records. It doesn't speak a lot of positive, but but regular season it gets you to the tournament. To get to the point to where you can be in the playoffs and have an opportunity to compete for a championship. But I think it's a great move for Atlanta, and then have Ritter to grow and learn at the same time. But it took me by surprise a lot to what Lauren said. You had an opportunity to get Lamar Jackson. You had an opportunity to get him, and you didn't. And you had an opportunity to get, heck, for that matter, Justin Field, and you didn't get him. So to go to Kirk Cousin now, to Kirk Cousin point, you're like, yo, there's some good young talent over there. They got a great defense. The defense is playing really good football. And that's how I look at it in today's football or any time in football. Go somewhere where you got talent and go somewhere where you got a great defense. You got a chance.
As a quarterback,
Okay.
man, I could not agree more. Go where you got talent and a good defense. Plus, Kirk is staying indoors. He's going to be indoors too. I got him winning the division just like that.
Yeah. And
Okay. Winning the division just like that.
That's right. Family from there, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I understand why most teams bowed out of the Lamar Jackson race. And it was, if you're a GM, as good of and as high of a ceiling as Lamar Jackson has, at the time he was asking for all of the guaranteed money that he had been hurt 2 years and hadn't been able to finish the season in 2 years.
Yep.
do you want to soak all of your money into that? Because when you do guaranteed money, a lot of people don't know, and I know that the two of you know, but when you do guaranteed money, you have to put a good portion of that into escrow as an owner. And so now you are putting cash capital into an escrow for one player on your team because you have to prove that you can pay that guaranteed money. That's a lot to do for a guy that hadn't finished the season in 2 years. And so I understood it, why teams kind of bowed out. And I think also, too, I think Baltimore, I think there's some gamesmanship there where Baltimore kind of said to everybody, hey, guys, we're going to keep Lamar. Don't get into a bidding war with us, perhaps. I think that there was some of that going on. Why they passed on Justin Fields, I don't know. The only thing I can think is, Coach, you alluded to it because I started to think, are they ready to win right now? Because if they are, that's the type of team that Kirk Cousins that should get a Kirk Cousins. And you feel like they are based on how the defense is playing. Hey, they have a tight end that Kyle Pitts that never gets the football that probably now will be a prominent part of that offense with Kirk Cousins in the building. And if they're ready to win now, Kurt is a good mix, and Justin Fields is a little bit of a wild card. So maybe that's why they go with a Kirk Cousins. What surprised me was Justin Fields getting traded over to the Steelers. That really surprised me because at this point I thought they had built the team for him. I thought they were going to let him play out his it's rookie contract. It doesn't cost them a lot. And now the Bears are starting over. What is it? It's every 3 years now they've had a new quarterback in the building, and they continue to start over no matter who it is. I was kind of surprised at Gardner getting a contract to go to Vegas. I like Gardner Minshew. I think he's proven himself as a good football player in this league, but man, to have him go to Vegas and say that he can compete for the starting job, that's I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming. But again, like Lauren, you and I talked off camera, maybe the Raiders are going to step up and draft another quarterback. Maybe Aiden O'Connell. Maybe they like somebody better in this draft than they like Aiden, although I like Aiden O'Connell. I think he's got a lot of upside. Big, strong kid out of the Midwest, played Big Ten football. I think all those quarterbacks that play in the Big Ten typically are pretty good, especially when they're pocket passers and things like that. So there we go. Let's move on to, and we kind of talked about it already, but the kind of moves we talked about Kurt, we talked about Minshew. What do we think about Tyrod Taylor to the Giants? Or to the Jets, rather. What do we think about him moving to the other side of New York and backing up Aaron Rodgers? Coach Harris, we'll start with you. Is that a great move for both sides?
Yeah. I think that's a very great move, and I say that from a standpoint. It's like that's your security blanket. You know what I mean? It's like a tight end, for quarterbacks or running backs. Your check downs, your tight ends, your security blanket type deal. Tyrod is very proven within the league. From when he first came out, very heady guy, man, very cerebral. Like he understands the game, plays it the right way for the quarterback position, and to get a guy like him, I do believe he brings that experience, and he brings some savvy about himself, and I still think there's room to grow with what's his name, the guy that's there now.
Zach
Wilson?
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Do you think Zach's going to stay on the roster, or they're going to move him before long?
Keep him there. Let him be third string. You know what I mean? And let him see how pros supposed to be. You know? And so you got, even though it's enough pro in Aaron Rodgers for a whole lot of people in a lot of years.
Different kind of pro.
Right. But then also see how Tyrod handles the situation. A guy with similar talent, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And so just to be an ultimate pro, you know what I mean? So like, I think Tyrod is a great pickup. Yeah. And also that shows that Zach, hey, we're bringing this guy in. So all the more reason you need to get your act together. You know what I mean?
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
I like it too. I like it. I like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's 40, coming off a horrific injury there with his Achilles. Thought he was going to be able to play, I guess, in December. So we'll see. They said this morning on NFL Network, the last picture we've seen of him in public, he was at some sort of party. with his shirt off and his face painted all different colors. So who
Love
knows
it.
where Aaron Rodgers is in his mind? But I've heard he might be up. What is he going to run with Kennedy as vice president for the uh, as far as not having a party? But Kennedy has asked him to be his VP on the ballot. So who knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do? I like I like
Right.
the
Right.
Taylor move. How about you, Lauren? You like it?
I like it for most of the similar reasons. I think you got two different QBs in that room, and more importantly, man, I'm sorry, hate's a strong word, but I didn't like the Aaron Rodgers as a coach and teacher to Zach Wilson as a mentor. That's not him. Aaron Rodgers is that dude. Go out there and be that dude. Let Tyrod teach up the young buck. And if all else fails, I mean, you got probably top 3 best backup quarterback in the NFL in Tyrod. So
Absolutely. And to be fair, Lauren, I don't think anybody wanted to tune in last year and watch Aaron Rodgers coaching on the sideline. We all wanted to watch Aaron playing for the Jets. And it just, 4 or 5 plays in, it just wasn't meant to be
I
last
didn't
year.
like the Hard Knocks mentorship throughout it as well. Like I get it,
Yeah.
but man, you're there to win. They paid you to do something, Aaron, not to worry about this guy, And he'll be able to see how I would bank on it that Aaron Rodgers and Tyrod they have to prepare different. But like you said, such similar a pro's pro, so
Yeah.
it's all the same road, but they all do it a little bit differently. So I don't know. I don't have the faith that you have, Coach, in Zach, but I do think it'll be good for him. And I do think Tim, I think he's going to get traded. If I hate to say it, but it's kind of harsh, but if anybody
Well,
wants,
I'll say this: it's not so much that I have confidence in him; it's more so that hopefully that he'll see how to be a pro from 2 different guys, and backing those guys up, and
Well,
go from
you
there.
said it earlier.
Or
You said it earlier, man. It's opportunity. He got a new
opportunity, man, opportunity, and or if he need me to help him, to get his life together and show him how to be a pro quarterback, then I can do that as well.
I like it. I like it.
Carlos says in the chat, Zach is out. UFL, here he comes.
That's
So,
right, man. Somebody
There you
within
go.
this league for sure.
Yeah, he needs some development. That's probably I loved Zach Wilson coming out of college, so I have egg on my face because I thought he was going to be special, and he has been special, all right, but not in a good way.
I didn't see it, man. I didn't see it.
See, at the same time, it would be some work because that DC defender QB right now. I mean, reigning offensive player of the year? So
That's right.
Well,
Yeah, you're not a shoe-in when you go to the UFL. The UFL's got some players now.
they got some dudes, man. They got some dudes for sure.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about the biggest move. I think the biggest splash, Pittsburgh made it with Russell Wilson. Lauren, let's start with you because you look really excited that Russell Wilson's going to be playing in Pittsburgh. Talk about it.
Man, I love it. I think they've been chasing that quarterback to replace the Big Ben. They've been looking for it, and this one was a steal. I'm going to say one statement here and leave it. Okay? A steal. Steelers just upgraded their QB room for a late pick and about $2 million in the NFL, right? You went from Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph to Justin Fields and Russell Wilson? Yeah, you're sitting pretty. Tomlin
didn't pay much. Didn't pay. They're paying $1 million and whatever they're paying Justin on his rookie deal and a 6th-round pick conditional to a 4th.
Look for Russell to start off much better than he did last year. And I love Denver's defense. They showed some heart and grit last year, but it is not a Tomlin defense. So, but I mean, let's look at the division as well. I think it's going to be great. The Browns, Steelers, Bengals, Ravens. Just look at the starting QB.
Tough.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Joe Burrow's got 2 tackles now, by the way. So don't look for Joe Burrow to get hurt this year. Let him play the whole season. Hey, guys, let's say hi to Brandon Newey. He is joining us from the couch. Obviously, again, he had back surgery for everybody who doesn't know. Just had a little disc issue there. It's funny because the last time he played golf, we were out there, he shot a 79. He played unbelievable, and the next day he couldn't get off the floor. So he had surgery within about a week. And he'll be back up and running here in a couple weeks, but he really can't sit in a chair for very long and things of that nature. So that's why he's out tonight. But how you doing, Brandon? Good to see you.
Appreciate you. Get healthy, man. I appreciate you for my one hole of golf of teaching and tutoring.
That's right. We took Coach Harris out for a day of golf, and we had a great time. Robert Kent joined us, and we plan to go out again whenever you got some time off, Coach. Yeah, he said they got Russ for a box of Skittles. That's about right. That's about right. So, and Justin, they didn't have to give up much for him. I agree. Pittsburgh won free agency. Coach, I know you love Russell Wilson going and playing under Mike Tomlin.
Oh, absolutely. I think Lawrence said it best. It was a complete steal for sure. And to get both of those guys, and there was a discussion between us and some of the guys on the offensive staff, as far as like, man, they're gonna have an opportunity to get them both. And I'm like, it can't happen. It won't happen. And when it happened, I'm sitting here like, you know what? I'm excited for him, and I think it's a great move. And for both guys, for Justin and for Russell, and for Pittsburgh, I think this is going to bring that team together closer. You got a pros pro in Russell,
Yep.
and I don't know him for whatever the reason would be. I don't know him at all. Never met him. But all the things that have been said negative for him, and I just see everything that happened on the field. And I just think this guy here can still play at a high level. I don't see the hate. I hate to see the hate on him and at him all the time consistently. It just drives me crazy. But I hopefully, the Steelers come out and have a really good season. Defensively, I said it earlier. You want to go to a place as a quarterback who got some great talent that you can surround yourself with and has a great defense. And what better place to go to? You know what I mean?
100%. That's a tradition of winning in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin's not going to settle for anything less. So do you think it's one and done, though, for Russell now they got Justin in the room? Because are they going to want to pay Russell $60 million, $50 million the next year? Are they going to go, you know what? Thanks for everything you did, and now Justin, you're our starting quarterback.
Yeah. I think I ain't gonna say one and done. I think maybe 2 or 3 years, but until it's not one of those type of situations, you look at things like with Philadelphia when they had Donovan McNabb and then Michael Vick came back into the picture, and then you look at things like Joe Montana and Steve Young, and then there so many other things like that has happened with guys. You look at Bledsoe with Tom Brady with New England Patriots. So you bring those guys into the mix. Pat Mahomes with Alex Smith. Even though he was drafted,
that was only
there,
1 year.
Yeah, even though he was drafted there, but you put those good players with veteran players, and then it just happens. You know what I mean?
I agree. That's why, here's the thing, right? Next year, Pittsburgh will have to, if they want them both, they're going to have to pay both.
Yeah.
And you're talking, this will be Justin's first contract. So if they want him, they're going to have to commit. And Russell's going to command a certain amount of money. And so the question will be, does Russell do enough this year? And does he keep his job all year? Does he do enough for the Steelers to say, we're going to pay both of these guys? Or do they say, thank you, Russ, for everything you did. We only paid $1 million for you. Now you can hit the market. Justin, you're our guy.
Yeah. It can go so many ways.
Yeah. I just worry about how the quarterback market and the money goes and the salary cap. That's where I'm not saying they wouldn't want to keep them both, but this isn't the 80s. You can't have Steve Young and Joe Montana on the same team anymore.
You look at Joe Flacco just now, right?
Exactly.
I got the one and done. I received the one and done for one of them. I don't know which one, but I mean, it's Russell's job to lose. He came on a cheap deal. He knows what the situation is. I think Justin's going to need some. You have to explain what exactly is going on here.
Right.
I made it clear, right? Russell's the starter, so it's his job to lose. But if he doesn't start strong, I mean, shoot, if he gets into the playoff and wins in that division, beats Lamar once or twice, beats Burrow shoot, I think you can get him for more of a Baker deal and not the max $50 million out of Russell.
You're right. And then
that's a great point. Another one, Baker Mayfield.
You know what? Atlanta might come back calling for Justin Fields at that point to sit behind Kirk for a year. You never know.
Right. You never know.
The quarterback carousel is going to be interesting.
I love it, man. I love it.
Started.
Keep the tradition.
Awesome.
Keep the tradition going.
Keep the tradition going. All right. Well, as we continue to talk about quarterbacks, let's get into some of these rookies. Let's just concentrate on the top 10. And for those of you that don't know who the top 10 are, this isn't necessarily my ranking. I took this from the internet. This is the top 10 by ranking. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. The top three, by the way, none of the three competed at the combine, which I really didn't like. I don't like that. That's just my personal feeling. Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy. I think the two of them are interchangeable. I think, J.J. could be 4, Michael could be 5, Michael could be 4, J.J. could be 5. I also think those are the only two rookies that are ready to play right now. Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, Michael Pratt, Joe Milton, and Jordan Travis. So, Lauren, let's start with you. A little mock draft of just these 10 quarterbacks. Do you know the draft order? Do I need to give it to you, or can you tell me where these quarterbacks are going to go?
I can give you up to like 4 or 5 off the top of my head, right? So I think that's pretty solid, right? So
that is solid. Give them to me.
Go in one. It's that simple. I think that's also why he didn't and shouldn't have to show off at the combine. Me personally, I'm with you. We're all quarterbacks, I'm assuming. But of course you want it. That's a moment. Of course you want
to have a moment, man. Yeah.
Go to the combine and I don't view it as this, oh, we got to take notes, see what it is. Man, I'm going out there to show my stuff, show what I can do. You got the film to back it up. This combine's not going to write the whole narrative, but I can see how people would do that. So I got Caleb. That's a shoe-in. And then the Commanders, right? They're number 2. I think they're taking a QB. And I think they're going with May. So I think they're taking just off of. Yeah, I think he's jumping. I like the size. I like the stature. I think he's a bigger Sam Howell, and Sam Howell wasn't bad to me. I don't think he played Philly close. I think took him to overtime last year. They don't have much kind of, I know they've tried to make some moves, but I think he's a solid foundation that isn't, like you said, win now. Let's be real. I don't think the Commanders are in a win now situation anyway.
Right.
So
agreed.
I got them there. And then, dude, I'm a Patriots fan. So if at this point, if those two are gone, I don't know if I like Daniels there. I'm gonna slip in if Marvin Harris Jr. is available. I'm sorry, I'm taking that man. That's just me.
Who's gonna play quarterback for you?
Will Mac Jones, Kobe, and possibly. So
Mac Jones already gone.
Mac Jones is gone.
Oh, that's right. Mac Jones is gone. So yeah, Jacoby Brissett's got to be QB1.
Well, I know we're getting a quarterback. So Patriots are known to do some wild things on trade day. I'm hoping the guys that you named later. I personally think Penix is going to fall unless someone does trade up drastically. And I think McCarthy's next after that. So after Jaden, if someone scoops him, he's a project. So that could be a steal for someone. Sit behind Darnold, maybe play in Minnesota. You mentioned the Raiders could possibly move up.
Yep.
I like McCarthy in any play now situation. I think the combine, since we're talking about it, that's what he showed. So McCarthy's going to be easily 3 or 4 interchangeable right there. I'm hoping maybe a Bo Nix falls back. I think Penix falls back. I just don't know what teams are going to take a quarterback. There's so many other needs that there's only 4 or 5 teams that maybe take a QB. So I think we'll have maybe 4 or 5 quarterbacks go in the first round. I don't think after that it's going to be a.
Where do you think Bo Nix is going to land? I'm going to just give you a name and ask you where he's going to go.
Bo Nix, I got. I'm thinking late 20s in the first round.
Late 20s in the first round, but you don't have a team. You don't have a team that you think is a good match for him.
The order, I just don't think no one's a match like that. You're going crazy over him right away.
Okay, fair enough. Coach, I'm going to move to you, and I'm interested to hear your take because you do this for a living. You get paid to do this. So let me know who's going where and who, is Caleb the front runner, number 1 guy? Do you feel like he is that generational talent? Is he going to change the Chicago Bears?
No, I'm taking Jaden Daniels first.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I love this because we are going to talk about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to take Jaden Daniels. You want Chicago to take Jaden Daniels.
I want them to, yes. Okay. Because Jaden Daniels, he processes information, to me, in my mind, faster. The ball is out. He's so athletic. And you see him pull away from guys when he run. I think this guy here, talent, man, is unfreaking believable. And he throws a nice catchable ball. Everyone say that. That's cliche. But this guy here, man, he can definitely spin it. I know his body frame is not what people want it to be, but I think I see a lot of CJ Stroud in him. From a passer standpoint, he's
Ooh,
more athletic and can run. But Jaden
okay.
Daniels, in my opinion, is that dude, man. He's that dude.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so that's why I like him. He doesn't hold the ball a lot. He, like I said, he processes the information fast. He see it and he's delivered the ball where it needs to be done. And don't get me wrong, Caleb Williams has some great talent. But at the same time, things that you get away with in college, you don't get away with it so often when you get to the NFL. Unless you Michael Vick, unless you Lamar Jackson. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Because you're so fast and so athletic and the things that you can do, you know. But that's my opinion as far as him going to the Chicago Bears or whomever may trade up for him after if Caleb Williams is picked first. And there's their argument between Drake May as well. I haven't seen a ton of Drake May. I've seen a little bit of him, and you can see a lot of Josh Allen similarities
Right.
with him as well because he's a big dude, man, and he has a big arm, and he's very athletic as well, and he can run. So some people gonna be torn between, I'm sure up into the draft on the day of and all those things. It's going to be a lot of talk about Drake May and then also with Caleb Williams and Jayden. But uh, but for me, it's Jayden Williams non-negotiable
Okay.
because yeah, that guy there, he's a dude. He is a dude. Uh, I think Bo Nix, Bo Nix, he can easily go to the Raiders. If someone, if they want to take that pick, I can see that for sure. I could see him possibly going to the Chargers, even though McCarthy can be that guy that can go there because of the coach. I think they're similar players. I think they're similar dudes, in how they play. I can definitely see that as well. But a lot of
Hmm.
those other guys, I don't know how they may fall, but like those are like in my mind like the top 5 guys with Penix. I can see him possibly hitting to Minnesota. I think
Yep.
you mentioned Lauren like behind Sam Darnold. I can see Jayden going to Minnesota as well. I can definitely see that. It's LSU ties there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My man Jefferson say, look, I need a guy here, athletic, who can throw the ball, can spin it, very accurate, who can get me the ball. So, you know, I ain't top McShay, and I ain't no other guys, you know what I mean, and all that stuff. But and they watch it way more than I do. But those top 5 guys there, I could see it. I could see those things falling like crazy, man. I could see it falling crazy.
Okay. I'm going to go a different way. Number one, I'm going to say if I'm Chicago, I'm a Bears fan, right? I grew up watching the
Yeah,
Bears and the Cowboys. I'm going to be really upset if they take Jaden Daniels, and this is why. I get what you're saying. He is super athletic. He does throw a pretty ball. He does not protect himself well. He needs to put on some weight. Here's my thing. He is the exact same player to me as Justin Fields. And if you're going to get rid of Justin Fields, who is bigger, stronger, a little bit more polished passing in the NFL at this point, to draft a guy that's just like Justin Fields but hasn't taken an NFL snap yet, to me, that doesn't make any sense. That does not make sense. Now, if you're trying to take Caleb Williams because the entire world has told you that he is the best quarterback that you're ever going to get in Chicago, and you believe it, and you feel like you missed 2 other first round picks, I think the Bears are bullied into the Caleb Williams pick, and I think it's going to turn out to be a disaster. I think it's going to turn out to be a disaster. Jaden Daniels, I think, will go to Washington, and I think he's going to be forced to play right away. And I think we'll see some flashes and we'll see some things, but I don't think it's going to be as pretty as we want it to be. And again, if he doesn't learn to protect himself, like Anthony Richardson found out last year, Jaden Daniels could have a very short season because I saw him take some hits in college that he can't take in the NFL. He just can't. You can't run head up into linebackers in the NFL. You just can't. You can't do it. The Bears won't take Drake May. There's no way they take another North Carolina quarterback. So Drake May will go to the New England Patriots. I believe that. I do believe that. I think they're going to take him. If they don't take him, it's going to be Marvin Harrison to go with Jacoby Brissett. I'm cool with that. Nobody else now. Tennessee, they could maybe take a quarterback. Ryan Tannehill is no longer with the team. They drafted, Will last year, but did he show you enough to tell you he's the guy when you've got some good quarterbacks here? They could draft, or they could trade with the Raiders, who want to get up and get a quarterback, and then Michael Penix maybe off the board as that fourth quarterback. I look for Minnesota to take JJ. I think that, Minnesota and Denver have both expressed interest in him. JJ could go and play for a year behind Sam Darnold. If he goes to Denver, he's going to have to play now. I'm not a big fan of that. I think he could do it. Again, I think he's one of two guys that could play right now and do very well. By the way, he graded the highest at the combine on the chalkboard of any quarterback. They said that he was able to decipher things that nobody else at the combine was able to figure out on the whiteboard and discuss it and go through it. I mean, anybody that's coached by Jim Harbaugh and plays at Michigan, to me, at the quarterback position, is going to be far and away more prepared than some of the other guys. And again, both of them played in pro-style offenses. So, these other guys did not. And it's a difference. It's a difference. And so I worry about Jaden a little bit. Bo Nix is interesting to me. I'm not sure where I stand on him. I'm really not. I know he's a decent athlete. He kind of gives me Jalen Hurts vibes. So I'm not really sure what's a good fit for him. Is he an RPO guy? He doesn't take a lot of deep shots, but he does have a decent arm. I don't know what's a good situation for him, but I hope it's not a play now. I don't. He played a lot of college football, but it's not the same,
Got
right,
a
Coach?
lot of starts. Got a lot of
It's
starts.
just not the same. Joe Milton is one of the most intriguing to me. Jamarcus Russell written all over him, right? He can throw the ball 100 yards. He threw an orange 120 yards at the Senior Bowl, but he's got really lazy feet. At least that's what he showed at the combine. To me, when he was throwing, he had the laziest feet of all of them. And it's my big arm, my big arm, my big arm. He needs to go sit. He needs to go sit behind a veteran and learn how to play the game. Yeah. But he's a physical freak.
I like him in New Orleans.
And
Okay.
sit for 3 or 4 years.
Behind Carr.
Yes.
Behind Carr. I like that. I like that move.
Jameis. They just got rid of Jameis, so you're kind of making room for someone to develop over there. Plus, I mean, you're about to go through some stuff in New Orleans, so
They really are. Well, hey, that was awesome, man. We're going to see how it plays out. We'll have more discussions about it. We've reached just about halftime. Shout out to Brandon. We're going to wish you a speedy recovery. You are all over here. Brandon says Daniel's got to learn to protect himself. But yes, Coach, he's a freak, so he agrees with you. Obviously, we know he is super fast. Caleb doesn't throw in rhythm enough for me to be sold on him, says Brandon. I agree. If you look at all of our QB huddles from last June till now, we've both been saying the same thing. It's too much. It's too much Patrick Mahomes, and you don't want too much Patrick. Don't go full Patrick.
No.
Never go full Patrick.
Patrick is Patrick.
Yep.
Exactly. So, we'll see what we get there. Shout out to the Couch Coach Club. We're going to be back very, very soon with our off season as soon as Brandon is up and running. And so we will get back to that. And now we're going to switch gears. We're going to get out of the NFL and into the UFL. And that's why Coach Harris is here. Coach, tell us a little bit more about your DC Defenders, your role on the team. Tell us who your quarterbacks are, and how's camp going for you?
Yeah, man. So I appreciate that. And like you said, with the UFL, of course, merging with the USFL and the XFL. And we are all excited about that for sure. And, the league itself, man, I think ownership got it right. And, for some people it sucks because you lose a lot, like 8 other teams, four other teams from the USFL, 4 other teams from the XFL. And, it's unfortunate, but for it to survive and to be right, and to give all these guys an opportunity and a platform to continue to display some talent and create value for themselves and get them an opportunity to, be back into the NFL. I think, they got it right, and it was the right move for sure. For players, coaches, whomever it may be, training staff, support staff, and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so right now, we're on like week 3 right now as far as training camp, and
That's
that's going
exciting.
well. Everyone is competing and getting after it, and it's exciting time for spring ball. It's not like you got 2 different leagues and everybody trying to keep up with who's the USFL and who's the XFL.
Right.
It's a great marriage, and now here it is all together, and now it's just one unit to be able to compete and go out there and do something like that, man. So we're all excited about it, and ready to get after it, man, and see what these guys do, and put them out there and let them get to work.
And we're coming up on cut weekends. As we say, transactions will be made this weekend for the DC Defenders. So
Yep.
a lot of hard practices, I bet, this week. A lot of long hours you're putting in. How has camp been? How do you feel you guys are preparing for the season? Are you feeling confident?
Yeah. I think camp has been great, and of course, when you come with our team, and we were very fortunate last season to have a lot of good players, and to come out and compete with us and display their talent. And I tell you, our head coach, man, Reggie Barlow, does an amazing job, and we got some really good coaches, man, on our staff, our offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Those guys do an amazing job with game planning, and as assistant coaches, we just all put our part into it and things like that. Uh, but last season, we set a standard for this season, and for all the new guys that we have, those guys have came in and competed, bought in, got with the old guys that we had from last season, and understand the standard is the standard, and to come in and compete and display their talents as well, and do the same thing, and try to replicate what we did last season.
Coach, Carlos from our chat wants to know, do you know why they didn't keep all the teams when they made the merger?
Yeah, so I don't know like a direct answer for that,
Okay.
but I do know for it is that to give the league an opportunity to stay alive, both on each side, and you didn't want to try to have too many right away.
Sure.
But as the years go on, the teams are added.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so you want to make sure you start somewhere in the middle, and then you kind of branch out from that standpoint.
Okay. Well, Carlos would like to see an Oklahoma team. So that's what he's asking for.
Yeah. You
Seems like
have
there's a good market. There's no pro team in Oklahoma, right? Except
you
for the
have
Sooners.
markets. You have those type of markets for sure. Who's put some bids in for sure.
Absolutely. Now, you're the quarterbacks coach. Tell us a little bit about your role with the team, your day to day, and who are your quarterbacks?
Yeah. So, like you said, I am the quarterback coach. I work hand in hand with our offensive coordinator, and he and I have 14 years working together. We've
Oh,
we've
wow.
been
What a relationship.
yeah, we've been a lot of places together. So the continuity is there, for us, and so that's why we were able to have some success that we've had before, because we've had that opportunity to work together and do those things. And for me as a quarterback coach, like I said, things that I see, I have a ton of input with it, and to be able to, make sure that the things that we're doing, it fit our quarterbacks. You know,
Sure.
so often you have all these people with these great ideas and great playbooks and all that stuff, but at the same time, you have guys that can't do it, is all for nothing. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure what you do offensively, it's going to change based off of who you have as a player. So you want to, make sure that offense fit the player, not the player fit the offense. You know what I mean?
I
So
love that you say that because Lauren and I just talked about that last night. He disagrees with that to some degree. I
yeah,
agree with you 1,000%. Make
hey,
the offense fit the player.
make sure
How
it
you
fit
have
the player,
success.
man. Yeah, you can say, "Oh, he got to learn it. He got to learn it." Hey, make sure you give him what he can handle right now, and what he understand and know, and then go from there. And if you want to be successful, but no, I'm a firm believer in that. Make sure, I mean, your offense is going to change every year. Probably you have a playbook, but it may change every year. So yeah,
Right.
but those are things that for me, and right now our quarterbacks, Jordan Tamu, of course, he's returning with us from last season.
Mhm.
Jordan's experience. He's been in the league, before, and have done some great things. He's also been in the USFL. He's been in the XFL and USFL, and he spent 3 years, with teams into the NFL. So a lot of experience there. Very talented guy, very smart, understands the game. And then we have Jalen McClendon. He was with the Vegas team last year,
Mhm.
and
Good name.
he got a lot of starts. Played at NC State and also over here at Baylor
Yep.
before. And then we have DeAndre Francois. Started out at Florida State, played up at Hampton University, and then at the same time he was with the Orlando team last year. So
Okay.
a very talented group of guys, great guys to work with. And so, like I tell them every day, man, I appreciate working with them every day.
Well, you have my dream job, coach. So you keep up the good work.
No,
You
I
are
appreciate
you
it,
are
man.
living the dream of so many of us out here in the real world. But let's get back into the UFL a little bit, Lauren. There are two conferences. They have the USFL conference and the XFL conference. We're going to go down the list for everybody and go and just quickly name the teams and who their quarterbacks are on the roster that we were able to find. So, Lauren, let's start with you and tell us a little bit about the USFL conference of the UFL.
Yeah, for sure. So switched over, man. I was looking into it. Obviously, it's new football, so you want to be able to argue with your friends in the garage and all that fun stuff, right? So Birmingham Stallions are one of the teams out there. Notable name, Matt Corral. He's on there, right? Adrian
Mhm.
Martinez out of Kansas State, and then Jamar Smith out of Louisiana Tech. So definitely, probably up in the air. When I was looking at these, some of the names jumped off. Some I didn't know of, but it seems like there's going to be some
Same.
competition every single, every single, quarterback room that's out there. I mean, they have three
Yep.
quarterbacks. Look into that. So
Jamar Smith, the dude, man, he started a couple years ago. So, yeah.
Okay.
Houston Roughnecks, they're in there. You have Jarrett Garantano out of Washington State. Nolan Henderson, he came out of Delaware, and Reed Sinnott out of San Diego. So Houston, a little more closer to us out here, so we'll be able to,
Yeah.
keep an eye on who's out there. Memphis Showboats, I just love the name, Showboat. Case Cookus out of I think is it Northern Arizona, and then Josh Love. Not sure if there's any relation to the other Love, but San Jose State, and Troy Williams. We know that name. That's out of Utah. So I feel like he's on the eyes and quarterbacks to watch out there in Memphis. So and then the Michigan Panthers, Davis Cheek, Danning Etling. I think
Yeah,
I've heard that
Michigan
one out of
Panthers.
LSU. Might have been a backup a couple of years ago.
Cut out there.
Yeah.
And then EJ Perry.
All right.
Cut.
Well, that's a good list. What you got, Coach?
No, I say it cut out for a second, but no, EJ
I cut out.
Perry. EJ Perry is a guy that's very smart dude, man. He's a dude.
I
I
saw
tried
both.
to root for that Michigan team last year just because I didn't know who to root for, and I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan, so I thought I'll root for the Michigan team, but they didn't do a whole lot. They didn't make a lot of
No,
noise. They didn't do
no.
a whole lot. Well, let's get into the XFL conference and their quarterbacks. We have the Arlington Renegades, and they have a local kid, Luis Perez from Texas A&M Commerce, and Holton Allers from ECU. Then the DC Defenders, of course, are in that conference, and we've already gone over their quarterbacks with Jordan, Jalen, and tell you what, that was the only team that I knew two of the quarterbacks. I know who Jalen McClendon is, and then DeAndre. San Antonio Brahmas, they have Quentin Dormady from Central Michigan, Tom Flacco from Townsend, and Chase Garbers out of Cal. And then the St. Louis Battlehawks have my favorite quarterback, A.J. McCarron out of Alabama. And then they have Brandon Silvers out of Troy. I love A.J. because he's just a consummate pro. I'm not an Alabama fan, but he was one of the best Alabama quarterbacks to come out. He was the first one in a long time to get to the league. And I just thought he was always a real good quarterback. Just never really broke into the NFL very well. Have you seen him play much, Coach? What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, competing against him. Of course, he's a down south guy. Being down from Mobile, Alabama, from close to where I'm from. So I watched AJ, all through high school at St. Paul,
Okay.
down there at private school in Mobile, and then to be over at Alabama. He's the golden boy, for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, so he's like you said, man. Watching him at Alabama, to do what he did there, I've been a fan of his for a while. So uh, I love what he brings to our league as well, and to St. Louis and and for that fan base up there in St. Louis. I mean, those fans up there is unbelievable. You know,
Yeah.
to play in front of that crowd there, man, is freaking unbelievable,
Is it
and what
fun?
they bring to a lot of noise. But AJ is the ultimate pro, like you said.
Yeah. I love AJ McCarron. Do you guys in DC, do you have a rival? I mean, I know everyone's housed here in Texas. Everyone kind of you practice as two teams on a field, I believe. But
Yeah.
do you guys have a rival in the league that you're looking forward to playing that you can't wait to go smack in the mouth?
Yeah, man. I think we kind of created one with St. Louis for sure.
Okay. Oh, so
Uh,
I asked about the right quarterback, didn't I? And
yeah,
AJ McCarron.
Did
I,
sure did.
yeah. I think there's one kind of created with those guys, and also I think it was kind of created with Seattle. Unfortunate Seattle, didn't make it through the
Yeah.
transition this year, because we played those guys three times last season. So
Okay.
uh, there was on our side in our division, in the northern division last year in the XFL. So, and then we end up playing them, of course, home and away, and then we played them in the first round of the playoffs. So, I
Sure.
think we kind of created a little rivalry there, but I think right now it's St. Louis. And we, like I said before, we was very fortunate to have the season we had. So I think we kind of put that bullseye on our back to create a rivalry with anyone right now. uh,
Okay. And you've got the quarterback of the year on your team. So,
and and that's another part too. Yep. So
yep.
when you're winning, you kind of create enemies. So
I
it's
like
So
it.
just
what
kind of
I
like
hear is DC Defenders for the UFL championship this year. I hear the confidence in your voice, Coach. I hear it, and we're rooting for you to make it all the way. And how does that break down in playoffs? Is it one conference plays out and then plays the other conference for the championship?
that's right. Yep. So you play your 10 games, and at the end of those 10 games, of course, the two teams that makes it to the playoffs, you play each other in the first round, and then you play the other side for the
Okay,
championship. Yeah,
I got you. So there'll be four teams total that make the playoffs,
yep,
and then but there's interconference play, is there not, throughout the season?
yeah. There's interconference play throughout the season for sure. Yep.
Perfect. Okay,
Mhm.
and when does your season start?
First game is
Okay.
opening weekend, August. I say August, but it will be March 30th.
Okay.
There'll be two games on that day, and then March 31st, everyone else play.
Oh, that's exciting. When do you guys play, and who's your first game?
So we March 31st on that Sunday, and we open up against San Antonio.
San Antonio. Are you at home or are you in San Antonio that
We
day?
actually we in San Antonio.
Oh, a little road game to start the season off.
Road game to start it off, man, and
Gotta like that.
we're excited about that for sure.
Where is the championship game? Where will you be playing in the championship this year?
So yeah, we will be playing the championship game in St. Louis this year.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
oh,
Where do they play their games at St. Louis? It's not in the dome, I assume.
Yeah. It's at the Dome. Yep.
Oh, it
And,
is at the dome.
yeah, it's at the Dome.
Oh, look out.
The,
Okay.
the Dome of America. Yep.
Wow, that place has got to be
Dome
rocking. I mean, they
of
missed the
America. Yeah.
Rams, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say, man, they are filled like that dome is full. Like,
Wow.
yeah,
Packed. Well, that's
yeah.
going to be
So
fun.
yeah, we played them there in St. Louis. And again, all of our games are on ESPN, Fox, or ABC.
Okay.
So yeah,
And then
so
will there be highlights and things of that nature on the website then as we go through, and YouTube? We'll be able to
yes,
catch
yep,
everything.
yep, yeah. All the schedules are out. All the TV network stations and all that are out. The times and all those things. Yep. So they are.
Nice. And folks, Brandon will be back soon, and we will go through and we will let you know what's going on week to week in the UFL with those quarterbacks, particularly who's playing well you know, who's on fire, who's in the garbage juice. Sorry to say it, but we got to keep the garbage juice alive. We got to keep the fire alive. And we're going to bring it to the UFL, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So Brandon said it's going to be a great season. Really looking forward to it. And I know I am too. And that's going to close out the show for today. That's going to do it for the QB Huddle podcast. We appreciate everyone that tuned in tonight. Thank you, Lauren, for standing in as a, you know, you are one of the QBs in the QB Huddle, so you're always welcome. Thanks for standing in for Brandon tonight. Coach Harris, we appreciate you. You're always welcome, of course. And I'm looking forward to coming out to some practices probably next week. Next week, I don't know that we'll be back next week with QB Huddle. I may do it by myself because Brandon's not feeling good. I may come back with Lauren if he wants, but we're going to start to introduce you to these quarterbacks, talk about their past histories a little bit, what they've done, who they are, so you get to know them just a little bit, because this isn't the NFL. You don't know them yet, but you will by the time we're done. Thanks for staying on this long, guys. We'll look forward to the draft here in about a month. But until then, stay in the pocket, my friends. Have a great night.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Great job, Tim. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you, man.
Lauren.
We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.